Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Hope everyone had a great New Year's, and to start off, we have yet another giveaway announcement. Can you believe it? This time, I'll be giving away 5 of these Larry Elder Show mugs, and you know you want one. Who wouldn't want to have one of these things? So make sure you go to winlarry.com right now, enter the giveaway. I'll be announcing the winners this month, January 20th, live on the Larry Elder Show on Epic TV, so be sure not to miss it. Again, that's winlarry.com. Got that? Capiche? Of course you do. And of course, thank you to everybody who signed up for the last giveaway. We love engaging you guys, so please let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Now, let's go to today's show, shall we? On reining in government spending, let's get real. The refusal of the so-called Freedom Caucus of the House Republican Party to vote for Kevin McCarthy is because of the caucus's skepticism that he will actually rein in government spending. Here's the problem. In 1900, government at all 3 levels taxed Americans at less than 9% of their earnings. Now it is over 32%. The federal budget devotes nearly half of the spending on the so-called entitlement programs, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Obamacare, along with health care programs for children. Another large chunk goes to defense, with another large amount going to interest on the debt. This leaves a tiny percentage of the federal budget for so-called discretionary spending. As to the entitlement portion, even Democrats over the years called the spending unsustainable. Former President Barack Obama once called these programs unsustainable. In March 2013, Politico wrote, Obama also warned that Democrats need to embrace at least some changes to unsustainable entitlement programs in order to achieve their long-term priorities, end of quote. Former President Bill Clinton, in his January 1996 State of the Union speech, said,
"We know big government does not have all the answers. We know there's not a program for every problem. We know and we have worked to give the American people a smaller, less bureaucratic government in Washington. And we have to give the American people one that lives within its means." The era of big government is over.
About Clinton's speech, public administration professor Paul Light later wrote, Clinton would have been much more accurate to say that the era of big government was continuing pretty much unabated. And that is precisely what the vast majority of Americans want, end of quote. Exactly. Most voters don't much care about the national debt, budget deficits, or whether the federal budget is balanced.
Now, listen to me very carefully, please. You see, when you have capital, you are able to derive... No, I will attend to the check in a moment, Mr. Graham. I understand about the check. I'm trying to explain something to you that is terribly important. When we spend more per month or per year than we have in income, you must then dip into the capital, eventually exhausting the capital and, of course, therefore, the income. Do you see what I mean?
Mr. Beckett, this check must be paid.
Mr. Graham,
And at once.
I'm trying to explain to you that it is impossible to pay the check because your expenses have exceeded your income to such a point that you have exhausted your capital. Now you have no capital, no income, therefore no funds for the check, you see.
Don't treat me as though I were a child, Mr. Beckett.
No, I'm not.
I am as aware of what it means to have no capital as you are.
Oh, good, good.
Now, what about this check?
Well, are you entirely sure that you really do understand what I mean by capital, Mr. Graham? You see, you've exhausted the capital. I can't cover the check because the check is for $6,000 and you don't have $6,000. In other words, you don't have $60.
Come to the point, Beckett.
The point, Mr. Graham, is that you don't have any money. The capital and the income are exhausted and you no longer have any money. I wish there was some other way I could say it. How could I put it? That money... You have no capital, you have no income, no, it's only money. No, you have no money. There's no other way to put it, you see.
You mean I have no money?
Yes, that's what I mean. You have no money.
So what of my stocks, my AT&T, my General Motors?
Yes, I know.
My Amarada Pete?
Yes, I know about Amarada Pete. Let me show you something, Mr. Graham. You see, it was necessary for me to sell several shares per year in order to cover the checks that you insisted on writing.
Who gave you the right to do that?
You did, Mr.
I did not.
Yes, you did. See, 15 years ago, when you told me that you wished to live on $200,000, despite the fact that the income from your trust fund was only $90,000, and that I...
That is beside the point. This check must be paid. Do you realize that this check is bounced, Mr. Beckett? I mean bounced.
Are the Biden administration's New Year's goals of tax and spend and turn a blind eye to inflation at odds with your goals of securing your savings? When you finally had enough of the games the government is playing with your savings and retirement, diversify into gold with Birch Gold. I know I'm tired of my money being impacted by stupid decisions by leaders in Washington. Now, for over 5,000 years, gold has withstood inflation, geopolitical turmoil, and stock market crashes. And here's the great news. You can still get it. In fact, you can own gold and silver in a tax-sheltered retirement account. Birch Gold makes it easy to convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in precious metals. Here's what you need to do. Visit LarryForGold.com to claim your free info kit on gold. With almost 20 years experience converting IRAs and 401ks into precious metals IRAs, Birch Gold can help you. Protect yourself with gold today by visiting LarryForGold.com. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy customers, and countless 5-star reviews, secure your future with gold. Start today with a free info kit. There's zero obligation to make this request. Just visit LarryForGold.com. That's LarryForGold.com. Politicians, at least those who want to win elections, practically engage in a suicide mission by criticizing these programs and spooking voters, especially seniors who are beneficiaries or soon to be beneficiaries. President George W. Bush suggested allowing workers to direct a small portion of their Social Security contribution into an investment account to seek a better rate of return. Bush established a bipartisan commission on Social Security. Its report read, Social Security will be strengthened if modernized to include a system of voluntary personal accounts. Personal accounts improve retirement security by facilitating wealth creation and providing participants with assets that they own and that can be inherited, rather than providing only claim to benefits that remain subject to political negotiation. End of quote.
Medicare goes broke in the year 2001. Social Security has a deficit 2012. Will President Bill Clinton, in the final 3 years of his presidency, move to restructure Medicare and Social Security in a way that may, in fact, raise the retirement age, increase premiums, perhaps even reduce benefits in order to make it safe for people in my generation?
First, let's say Medicare does not now go broke in 2001. It's got 12 years on the life of it now. We have more prevention, more choices, and more cost controls in the Medicare reform proposal that's part of the balanced budget. So it doesn't go broke now in 2001. Social Security is in better shape because of the declining inflation. But do we have to have a longer-term reform of Social Security and Medicare, and should it occur before I leave office? The answer to both those questions is yes.
Now, in Bush's 2005 State of the Union address, he pointed out that Democrats, too, warned about the precarious condition of Social Security.
During the 1990s, my predecessor, President Clinton, spoke of increasing the retirement age. Former Senator John Breaux suggested discouraging early collection of Social Security benefits. The late Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan recommended changing the way benefits are calculated.
But Democrats denounced Bush's attempt to privatize Social Security. Representative Nancy Pelosi could barely restrain her glee over Bush's dangerous act of political heresy. About the plan, Pelosi said to one Democratic member, "Never is never good enough for you." Pelosi, after causing Bush to retreat from his plan, called his failed attempt a political gift. The adage about tax hikes is equally true about budget cuts. Don't cut me, don't cut thee, cut the other fella behind the tree. And that's the elder statement. Now, be sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and scroll down, and you'll see the little notice below and get on our mailing list. Why? Because, believe it or not, for some reason, don't know why, YouTube from time to time has a problem with our videos. To make sure you don't miss any of the videos, get on our mailing list. Also, there's a donate button. You can always hit that and throw a little something in the tip jar to make sure you still get hard-hitting content coming at you that you can't get anywhere else. LarryWithEpic.com. That's LarryWithEpic.com.